And I think it's important for you to understand that though I'm mostly non-binary.
What is going on here? He said my pronoun. So are these the type of subjects that are being taught in our schools to our children now? All right. You should be able to hear it now.
Welcome to your first day of kindergarten class. We're going to have a great year, and together, I think we're going to put the ass back into class. Right, kids? As your teacher, it's my job to guide your growth and development, keep you safe, instill my values into you, teach you how to become a leader, and watch you go to the bathroom. And we'll go around the room and share our names and sexuality with everyone in just a moment. But first, because coming to school is all about you and your education, it's important that we make the focus of class about me. My favorite thing about me is that I'm a trans, hetero, gay, mostly non-binary, queer, tax-exempt, asexual celiac. And my pronouns are he, ha, victim. And I think it's important for you to understand that though I'm mostly non-binary.
What is going on here? He said my pronoun. So are these the type of subjects that are being taught in our schools to our children now? This sounds somewhat far-fetched, but is it really? If you've been on TikTok, these have been part of the discussions that these teachers, they feel so proud that they are helping children discover their sexual orientation. I've heard cases where children went to the bathroom and come back as a little boy went to the bathroom and come back as a little girl. Things like that all the time. So what's going on in the chat room, guys? What is your perspective on this thus far? We know JP is doing what JP always does. Yeah, he used all the buzzwords. Yes, he does. That's right, Darth Vader. Yeah, this is funny. At least JP puts it through. That is hilarious. Something to think about, right? Yeah. All right, let's continue here.
For the next 15 minutes, I will be identifying as someone who has a little bit of binariness. But that little bit of binariness that currently resides in the person identifying as myself is a completely non-binary binariness. People make the mistake of treating binariness like it's a binary concept, but it's not. And it really hurts me when they think it is. Even if you're non-binary, it's still binary of you to say that you're non-binary.
What?
And because this isn't a Trump rally, I just thought you'd want to be on the same page with me on that. Sorry to have to ask, but what's all that mean? It's okay. It's important that everyone clearly understands my sexuality so we know where we stand with each other. It basically means I was born in the wrong body. How were you born in the wrong body? Because God makes mistakes.
Because God does what? Does God make mistakes?
That is so terrible. I think it's really sad to hear how this is essentially what's happening, even though it's not quite as blunt, it's not quite as in their face, but it's exactly what's happening. They're telling our kids who have no understanding of all of this and what it means to them, and they're just sponges. Yeah, they'll soak up anything right now. So they're just instilling their own narrative, their own propaganda into them so that they can break down the family units, because it's just so crazy to see how many families are just so broken up, and how this is exactly how a nation won't be able to fight, because they're too busy fighting with each other. They have no, what's the word? Like, I was thinking about it the other day. Like, they just have there's no leadership. There's no leadership. Leaders. Because everyone's trying to figure out their sexuality. Yeah. And the sexuality is not being highly promoted that women become more like men. It's more men becoming more like women.
Yeah, you noticed that too, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Sorry, it's harder on this angle, but yeah.
It's disturbing. Megan said, no, the father doesn't make mistakes. He doesn't. He know what he did the first time.
Could you imagine if he made a mistake?
Mercy.
So what does that mean? That means the very foundation of the world is all questionable.
Yeah, everything has to be torn apart.
And everything gets thrown out the door. Exactly.
Yeah, everything. But I'm not sure if they want to go that far, though. Yeah, that's disturbing. All right, let's keep going.
Luckily, as someone who makes permanent decisions about altering my body, I do not make mistakes. Now, what I want to draw you is... can't find where I put my marker. I think I might have left it on my desk. Is that it in your other hand? Oh, yes it is.
Yeah, you don't make mistake, all right.
In a little bit, we'll do an assignment where you decide what your gender is. But first, I want to draw. I don't think that's how it works, because when my baby sister was born, she came out and the doctor said, it's a girl. Doctors are literally just guessing genders at birth. They don't know what they're talking about. Now, because you're 5, you need to understand more about me and my sexuality. Now, this is a drawing of what the coagulated clump of flesh in my crotch looks like.
Oh my goodness.
My partner's is the same, only more inverted. Zer's name is Atticus Moonflower Seaman. Currently, Zem's trying to get me pregnant, so we're having very aggressive sex with each other.
Let's be honest, is that what we're sending our kids to school to listen to? And JP, I know he's over exaggerating the fact, but the truth is, this is exactly what is happening in many college campuses, in many children courses. This is taking place. This is a problem in our education system. What has been the result? I don't know. I'm not sure if this is what the founding fathers intended. As far as this is not what Americans' colleges and school were intended to be, or even that's not what parents are looking for. So I think these teachers literally need to be checked. In every state, they need to be checked for what they're doing here.
Trying to get me pregnant, so we're having very aggressive sex with each other a lot. Zem victim teacher Zer, I'm uncomfortable with this conversation. That's because you're transphobic, so it is very wrong of you to feel uncomfortable while I'm sexualizing you. What's a pedophile? Mostly nice people that are unfairly oppressed because they're very misunderstood. Why do you ask? Because my dad said that's what you are. Well, tell your birthing person I said thank you for the compliment. Ooh, and before I forget, here are permission slips to go on our field trip at the end of the month to Disneyland. Now, if your parents won't sign it, just let me know, and I'll sign it instead, because you are mine now. Now
you get the ideology?
Yep.
You see it?
All power is going to the school system, to the teachers. Parents are no longer going to have a voice, and that's what's really sad.
Yeah.
And what they're doing with pedophilia, they're making it like it's a way of life now. And that is really sad, this man-child love. And it's like I said, you can see them going to further extremes.
Yeah.
You know, I know I'm stretching it, but it's just like that one video. I could see what's coming next.
Yeah.
It's going to be legalized suicide.
Yeah, it's disturbing. That's where we're headed. Darth Vader said public schools have become... Yeah, Darth Vader says public schools have become indoctrination camps.
Become what?
Indoctrination camps.
Yep.
Yeah, in a nutshell.
It's sad. Homeschool people, if you can do it.
I can... I would say that when I went to college too, actually, being a Christian who went to like a secular, college, obviously this is hyperbolic, but I definitely did deal with having to hear about, certain ideologies and ways of looking at the Bible and just religion in general. And it definitely doesn't bolster faith by any means. I can say that much.
It doesn't.
It really gives people who either have faith an opportunity to lose their faith, or if you don't have any faith to begin with, more reason to continue that route because of what you're being taught about what the Bible supposedly says and about the truths of reality, and usually they don't fall in line with God and His standards at all. So,
that is disturbing.
I love what you said about those who don't have faith never seeing a need for or being that much more separated from obtaining a faith-based way of thinking, a worldview that puts God at the center of it. That is exactly what they're trying to do. You know, when we talk about all these other things with God, with the family unit and how they want to indoctrinate our children and all of that, like we've heard time and time again through comments and through what you just said, this is just an attack on God. It's an attack on
the family.
Having people becoming rooted in faith in what God says to be true.
Yeah, that's true. A comment here from ODV. He said, how did we get to the point where we don't know what we are?
Very intentional. It's very intentional, because when we know who we are, when we know what we are, when we know our purpose and where we're going, we're unstoppable. Because we understand how God created us.
That is so true.
So confusion, chaos, distortion of the mind. What do you have? A bunch of drug zombie people who will just fall into the order and controls of the powers that be, who have their agenda all figured out.
Wow.
They just don't understand the fact God wins, period.
So true.
I think about Romans 1, where you think about, like, serving the creatures rather than the creator, right? And our minds slowly more debased, right? And God giving us over to these things because, we continually choose to serve idols, right? And things that are not God, whether it be ourselves or people or whatever, instead of giving glory to the Father on high.
That's right. Megan, you said, to answering the question of ODV is like through social media, news, and public schools, we came to a place where we've lost our identity. And I think Darth Vader added that, they're trying to get pedophile destigmatized. That's disturbing. I see that they're making it look like it's not so bad anymore. So when do we come to a stop on this slippery slope of acceptance and equality and diversity? Like, when do we come to a point where we say, okay, I think we've gone a little bit too far with this? Who is to say the next thing is wrong now? Because we've been so accepting of things. Anything should be accepted. The door is wide open for anything and anyone to come in now.
Again, what my comment to that is, we don't need a law system. At that point, we don't need to have checks and balances and order in place for a judicial system, because who can judge what's right and what's wrong? No. Since we're just putting it all into a melting pot and saying, you pick what you want to choose, and you pick what you want to choose. What is then the point of having any type of system? Pull it out. I bet you people will be crying for it.
Absolutely.
All these defund the police. There's many more ways to get our police and our communities under a better order to be able to better serve our communities. And defunding them is not the way. But being that you guys want all this, do what you want, when you want, how you want. When I say you guys, not us, but like those people who are for it, let's just pull back all those systems and see. Let's just go from there. See how it all pans out. All the way up there. Sorry. Harsh driving.
Yeah, I think that's great. Your comments are, it's just, I'm not sure if we are ready to see what the results will be of these decisions. I don't think the world is prepared for what that will be like. It's gonna be chaos. Let's just put it that way. And so how do we come to a point where we say, okay, enough is enough? Like, who is going to make that decision? Who's going to make these calls if we don't have a standards to live by? And again, I think what's under attack as well is truth, because part of the problem is who determine what is right and wrong? Is it our emotion? Is it government? Or is it God? Or is it our public school system? I don't know. Somebody has to come with the standard that is not subjective. It is objective. It is not left to you and I to determine whether or not it's right. Like, who makes that final call? And I think we have to get a sense of that reality before we can say what is acceptable and what is not.
Exactly. And that reality is found in the Word of God. And that's what they're making it all like, all these new ways of just, you can be whatever you want to be. It's feeling over principle. I feel this way. And then they're going to they connected the word feeling with love. That's just how their standard is. How do I feel today?
It's crazy.
Put the metal to the pedal. Sorry, Amara's driving and I'm trying to make it home alive.
She is not too bad.
Well, we were merging at like 5 miles an hour.
Oh, okay. Maybe we should pause. Maybe we should pause and have a word of prayer for you.
Ow! Megan, we're going to Megan's house. We need healthy snacks to calm my mind.
Yeah, and Megan will take away all the technologies.
Yes, get us in order.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just think it's so important for us to recognize and understand.
Yeah.
Like, we have to be bearers of light, bearers of truth.
That's right.
All they're doing is eradicating the truth and putting this form of a form of godliness, because they're wrapping it all in love. And else is love. God is love.
Yeah.
He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love. So when you understand the volume and the magnitude of that verse, and now how they're using it, just like they've used the rainbow of promise, just like they've taken all of God's foundational principles and have turned them into this self-centered, feeling-based theory of thinking. Well, here you have it now. So we have to really combat that with truth.
Yeah. That's crazy.
As it is found in the Word of God.
Yeah, absolutely. Debbie said those TikTok shows and videos played a significant role teaching kids that stuff as well. So yeah, like social media, like Megan said, social media is so significant in confusing these children, about their identity.
It all seems like fun and games, and they don't even realize it's like this. I was watching the Minions. Oh my goodness. They had, it was bad. And we were watching the Minions, and there was a guy in a thong. There was a guy dressed up as a woman.
Yes.
There were so many. I think 2 men like want to kiss each other, like in a joking gesture. It was all very joking and hee hee ha ha funny. And then I went back to Shrek, my favorite childhood movie. What does Pinocchio say? And his nose doesn't grow. I'm wearing ladies' underwear. I'm wearing ladies' underwear, and his nose didn't grow.
Yeah, he's telling the truth.
He goes down into the pit, and someone snaps his undies. And I'm like, oh my goodness, Shrek was my favorite movie growing up. So it's just becoming more of a norm, and it's just getting more bold.
Yeah. Everything is becoming gay.
Everything. It's just like,
that's just disturbing.
Pushed down.
Yeah.
You know what? We don't have heterosexual parties.
No.
I was thinking about that the other day. Like, we're not pushing the heterosexual movement in a sense.
That's
like,
old.
Where we need to have like straight parties.
It's not trendy.
Throwing straight parties.
It's not.
Make it trendy.
Yeah, it's not fun. That's old school. Yeah.
Old school. We can make it new school.
Yeah, I know, but according to them, I'm saying they don't really care. Yeah.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, this is what they're doing, because this is how you know it's such an agenda, because whenever you feel the need to have to throw a party and make big noise about it, you have a feeling or a sense that it could be under attack, or it could be judged, or it might not be right. Yeah,
that is crazy. You're right. So guys, let's finish JP here. Powerful.
Let's do something that'll be healthy for your very impressionable young minds. We're going to go around and decide what our genders are. Now, you might be a boy, you might be a girl, or you might be trans. Johnny, what are you?
I'm a boy.
No. What are you really?
Well, I'm a boy. I have a wiener.
That's got nothing to do with this, and besides, that's a very easily solvable problem. Now, are you sure you're not trans?
I'm pretty sure.
Sounds like you might be.
I don't think I am.
Well, if you're a boy, that means you're nothing but a privileged person vampirically feeding off the suffering of other people who are oppressed because of you. Which is everybody, because you want everybody to hurt because you are mean. Is this the type of person you want to be?
No.
But if you just so happen to be trans, you're brave, special, and you're protected, which means no one can make fun of you or bully you. You can swim on whichever team you want, and you'll be praised by your favorite Hollywood celebrities. Now, are you someone who wants to be special?
Yeah.
Are you trans?
Well,
It's a safe space to say yes.
I guess so.
Johnny just came out as trans, everyone.
Oh my goodness, this is
wild.
That is horrible.
But that's how it happens.
Oh,
it's like feeding their minds, like something's wrong with me. In the natural state of who I am.
Make them
my
feel
natural identity.
Make them feel really guilty. Yeah, make them feel guilty and make them feel if they don't become part of your new movement, they are not good enough. What kind of doctrine is that?
So brave, and
I think
you
men should really rise up.
Say it again. Go ahead.
I just think men in general have to really put a fight against this too.
Absolutely.
Because this is just such an attack on men.
Yes, it is.
I mean, you primarily see men in this.
Absolutely.
From what I've seen. I mean, you guys, please correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm primarily seeing an attack on men.
Absolutely.
In this whole movement in itself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a brokenness in many men's lives. And I think the trans movement took advantage of that. You know, they feed off of that.
Here are some hormones, Johnny. Don't tell your parents. Oh, and here are some scissors. This is a powerful, very influential education. If you allow it, parents.
Wow. Well, that speaks for itself. So as disturbing as it is, it's a truth that is becoming more and more of a reality in our lives today. Yeah, I think something is wrong with our educational system. Something is terribly wrong with it.
Full of things.
Yeah. And we have a responsibility to pray for our children. And I think I was speaking to a friend last night. I don't want to say name. And we were talking about the emphasis of prayer. I met with Pastor Scott today, and that's kind of what we were doing. We just felt the need to pray for the people that are in our lives. And I think our children, we are at a place now where we really need to be praying for them. Certainly keeping them away from certain things. We need to be praying for our children and watch the use of social media as well. You know, we have to be strict with them. There's just too much corruption. If you can afford homeschool and stuff like that, that's a safer place for you to take care of them. Because we can't sit back and allow this to continue. But I got one verse here to share, and then I'm going to introduce you guys to Justin. You've heard a little bit from him, but you haven't really met him. This is one of my favorite verse when it comes to what God says in the book of Isaiah 49:25. So let's turn our Bible here. Isaiah 49:25 tells us this. It says, "But thus saith the Lord, even the captives of the mighty shall be taken away, and the prey of the terrible shall be delivered. I will contend with him that contendeth with thee, and I will save thy children." God wants to save our children, but we got to wrestle. We got to fight. That means we got to fight for them on our knees. The devil wants to take them out, but we have a job to do as parents, especially believers, to fight for our little ones. That's my perspective on this. Now, I would like to